Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good vibe. Welcome to this episode of Chill Art, creative mindful tools to help you, chill out. This program is a go-to for when you need to calm the anxious, overstimulated mind. It's stress reduction with an arty twist. In this episode, psychotherapist and sound artist Greg Carpenter, licensed marriage and family therapist, will be demonstrating how to use various instruments as elements of sound therapy to help us feel calmer and more centered. He then will bring us through a deeply grounding singing bowl meditation experience. After, we will be transforming a wave, taking a curved line and making it into a work of art. No artistic talent is required. So, let's begin.
Hi everyone, I'm glad to be here. Let me say a little bit about how I got into doing sound therapy along with my family therapy practice. I've been probably a practicing family therapist for about over 30 years, and about 10 years ago I got into energy psychology and using tapping on acupuncture points as a way to help people get over stress and anxiety and trauma. And then shortly thereafter, I started getting into drumming and going to drum circles, and there was all sorts of instruments I got exposed to. And I noticed the therapeutic effects of drumming, and I thought, I wonder if I can incorporate this into my practice. So my very first singing bowl was probably just about this big that I picked up, but eventually I worked my way up to having 18 singing bowls, some of which I will demonstrate for you today. And then I got into drumming. Well, I said I got into drumming, but then I also got into the frame drums, little ones like this, all the way up to big 22-inch ones, which I have sitting over here that you can see, which I'll also demonstrate. And then that led to playing the didgeridoo and playing the flute. And also then eventually about 3 years ago, I got into using the gongs in my practice. And so what I want to do today is talk about mindfulness and how you can use sound to get into that kind of mindful state. So first thing we want to think about is we really want to learn how to increase our noticing skills. And our noticing skills, of course, have to do with that ability to kind of drop into our body and notice what's going on. There's a cool little term for that called interoceptive perception. It's that ability to kind of drop in and notice what's happening in your body, the body sensations. And by doing that, that part of our brain that registers body sensations actually processes faster, about 5 to 6 times faster than our thinking brain. So why is that important? Because by the time you're thinking and worrying about something, it's your body that's already influencing how much intensity you have over what it is you're worrying or thinking about. So when we drop into our body, we actually recognize at a faster level what's going on before it even gets to the level of influence in our thought. So where does sound come in with that? Well, sound becomes a wonderful way to get our thinking brain to quiet down, even go offline, so that we can center into what I call our higher self, that more transcendent self, that self that's centered, in our heart. And in that self, we are free from all the contaminations of our life experiences. We're free from our worries. We're free from the pandemic in terms of what's going to happen in the future. And we find this place of confidence and calm and connectivity. And so sound is very powerful in facilitating that process. And one of the ways it happens is by getting the conscious mind to get still. Now, what's going on here? In the brain, we have two things that are going on. One is we have the sympathetic nervous system, which is like someone stomping on the gas accelerator in your car. You take off into either kind of fight or flight and angry and intensity, or you go off into this kind of anxious, highly, aroused place. Your pulse rate goes up. But there's also what we call a freeze response, which is part of the parasympathetic nervous system. When we feel overwhelmed, sometimes we just kind of check out. And if you've noticed yourself during the pandemic, you're just kind of feeling numb. That's kind of a normal coping mechanism. But of course, we don't want to get stuck in those places. But also the parasympathetic nervous system, which is like putting the brake on your car, is the place that we actually get when we're in the right rest and digest nervous system, when we're in that relaxed place, when we're in that very chill place, and our heartbeat and our rhythm of breath begins to sync together with our brain, and we just feel good. So what I'd like to do is show you how you can use sound to do that, and I'm going to play like a 5-minute singing bowl thing where you can kind of close your eyes, focus in on your body and your breath, and just listen to the sound as a way to get into that mindfulness. But first, let me show you a little bit of how you can use some other things that you might have around the house. Now, this is going to sound a little harsh possibly, but I'm going to show you how the rattle works. You can literally rattle around your head and down your body. Now that one is my favorite because it's so intense. And so when my mind is going in that monkey thinking, you know, really tense, it seems to wash that out quicker than any other sound instrument that I have, particularly for high stress worry. But then you have a little softer rattle. For those of you who are very sound sensitive, you have this softer rattle. And you can just go around your head, up around your body. It's almost like you're washing off secondhand smoke. And again, very simple. And we could talk about how or why this works, but what I want you to do is become your own researcher. Just notice what's happening in your body, and then try things and notice what happens and where it takes you. So you become the expert on what works and what doesn't work, as opposed to somebody else telling you a certain sound frequency will do this or a certain instrument will do that. Trust your own reaction to everything and follow the ones that make you feel better. Now, so that's just a very brief demonstration of the rattle. What I'll do in my office is actually have someone stand up, and I'll start at their feet and go up the front, then the back side and the two sides and around their head. So actually I'm rattling their entire biofield, if you will. And people are really, I'd say 90% of the people really love it and find it to be an extremely relaxing place. The next one is you can do this with a drum. You may not have one this big. They come in all sizes. This is about 22 inches. But you can literally do the same thing. You can go up and down your body with the drum. And you can beat it as fast as you want. You can do like a heartbeat rhythm. You can move it around. Find out which pitches that you tend to like. Now, what I would suggest if you're really stressed and you do have a frame drum at home, what I would suggest is you get the drum, and you can hold it just like this. I got it on my knee here. You know, there's ways to play the drum musically with your fingers, but simply just do a really rapid beat, about 180, maybe 200 beats a minute. And just keep that going. Now what's interesting about this is in Yucatan, Mexico, they conducted this experiment. Well, actually, let me back up a little bit. The National Institute of Health sent people out looking for ways to get into a trance most quickly, a meditative state, a mindful state. And what they found was in a Catholic church in Yucatan, Mexico, they found they were beating on a gourd 220 beats per minute, and it put everybody into this trance state quicker than any other method they found. So what I've done with my clients and what you can do with yourself is just play it this way. And I'll tell you, as I'm doing this with clients, within 7 minutes, I start to get a little nod off. So this is just a great way to get in that meditative state. And of course, there's all sorts of different ways to use the drum. I'm just going to show a few of those. But what I would say is when you play with these instruments and you're trying to do some stress reduction, again, experiment. Feel free to try things. When I was a kid, I would get on the piano and I would make up thunderstorms by hitting the keyboards and rain and all this stuff. I didn't know how to play the piano. I was just making it up. And it was so cathartic to get rid of that teenage angst when I was a teenager. And I just did all sorts of things with the piano that I just was making up. Sound is powerful in carrying emotion through us. So you might hit the drum to signify emotion that you have. If you're angry, you might hit it really hard, kind of bang that energy out of you. Or you might play it really quietly and listen to the sound and really tune into that. Now, when we're practicing mindfulness and sound, what we all have in common is you want to think that you're like a little kid laying on the ground looking at the clouds, and you follow a cloud for a little bit, and then you come back and you follow another one. Think of the clouds as your thoughts. So as you're doing any kind of technique with sound or tapping or otherwise, you let yourself notice the thought and then come back to the sound. Notice the thought and come back to the sound. Notice the thought, come back to the sound. And you don't want to beat yourself up, because actually when you lose concentration, you're exercising your focus muscles when you come back. So it's a good thing, but you just want to do that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have a little demonstration with the singing bowls here. They're on either side of my microphone. And if you have headphones, you'll find a much better experience, but I know it still works even through laptop speakers. People get a nice effect with this. So what I want you to do is just listen. Take a nice deep breath. We're going to do this just for a few minutes. And just listen to those tones as I put my headset on so I can hear just a little bit better. Then as you drop down into your body, just notice the sensations and let the sound wash over any tension that you feel, accepting whatever is. Your mind starts to wander. You just notice that and come back and focus on the sound. And whatever comes up, you want to greet it with your own loving kindness and gentleness. And as always, just take a nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Just making that out breath a little bit longer than the in breath, which will help kick in that parasympathetic rest and digest nervous system, that deeper state of relaxation. And then just as you notice, we sing the bowls by rubbing the rim around it. That's a different sound. We just listen to that, focusing on our breath and the sound. And we're able to get into that state of being 100% in the present moment, where the past is not intruding on the present, or our mind is creating some story about the future or fear of the unknown. When we're free from going into the future or the past intruding, we're truly in the present mindful moment. And in that deep center, we know all is well. So that was very brief, maybe a few minutes. Um, if you want to get more of these types of sounds, you can go to YouTube/G/Greg Carpenter, and you can see a lot of these different types of recordings of gongs, drumming, singing bowls, flute playing, didgeridoos, and find the kind of one that you can listen to. And people will tell me they'll put those on and just listen to them as they do whatever it is they need to get done, and they find it to be helpful to keep them focused longer or more relaxed as they're doing the work, or just to enhance their own meditation. So this is it. It's been great sharing with you. I hope this is wet your whistle to experiment with sound. One last modality I would recommend is, I still have the old school MP3 player, and I carry it around with me all the time, using sound as a kind of brain tonic. And you can go to bilateral.com to experiment some bilateral music, which can be very helpful. It's like relaxation music that's turbocharged with some technology. Or you can go to brainsync.com. Neither one of these am I affiliated with. And you can get some binaural beat type music also that's kind of a turbocharged relaxation music that can be very helpful to run in the background. I wish you all well, stay safe, and find your center.
Beautiful, Greg, and thank you. Make sure you visit Greg's YouTube channel for more meditations and sound bath recordings. Sounds, waves, sound waves, vibrations. This is what the words "I love you" look like as a sound wave. Good vibes or good vibrations is a phrase meaning positive feelings. In some parts of the world, the term translates to buena onda, which literally means good wave. Today we will play with a wavy line and make it into a good vibe design that later you can color and embellish. Just follow the captions, focus, and enjoy more of Greg's beautiful music. And there you have it. Buena onda. Good wave. Good vibe. Now, let's see what you create. Don't forget to take some photos of your designs and email them to LCFA.BUZZ@gmail.com. Then check our website and share the page with your friends. That's it. Until next time, relax, breathe, and take some peace time. It feels good. Ride the wave, the good wave.